Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you're creating some amazing things. I know I am. So, a question that I get a lot, is how to use the law of attraction in the workplace, how to use the law of attraction with different coworkers, and so that's what I'm gonna post about today. So, for me, just like in my own life, I have used the law of attraction and had it shift my workplace probably first and foremost. That's where I really started to see things start moving when I started using law of attraction based tools in my life. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. When it comes to work, I know for me, the biggest reason I wanted to change things was because I'm at work all the time. Like, I'm at work right now. Like, I'm above my job right now. I got here at 6 o'clock in the morning, and that I leave here at 6 o'clock at night. Like, I live here. This is like my home. I work for my parents, which is nice. It has its perks. It has its unperks. I don't know. But I didn't like my job for the longest time. And I felt very stuck. I wasn't getting along with coworkers. I wasn't getting along with customers. I was not in a good place. And I shifted it completely. Like, this is home now. I love it. And that shift had to take place. And I knew it was something that I had to do myself. And it wasn't something that was going to happen until I started consciously making that effort in shifting it. So it's kind of what I'm going to talk about in this video. So when it comes to the workplace, one of the easiest ways to start shifting things is by starting to shift your own beliefs and how you think about your job and how you think about the workplace. And even if you are looking for a different job, but you are in one right now that you are not satisfied with, it's important to remember that you're going to follow yourself wherever you go. So looking for positive aspects of your job is very, very important. And it is a very easy way to start and shift things in the workplace. You're either going to find yourself shifting your workplace, or you're going to find a new job that has more of the things that you are appreciating in the job that you have now. For me, things that I found to appreciate is that I learned a whole new skill where I work. I got better people skills. I got more confident. I learned to do a bunch of different things, and I learned how to work, which was big because this was really my first real job, which is nice. And I love working here. I love my job. I love coming to work. It feels like I'm just going from home to home, which is awesome. I don't know if many people can say that, but that's how I feel about my job. And I've also met some of the most amazing people from here. I've met people at my full-time job that I have made connections with for my tarot and Reiki business. So if I didn't have this job, there are a lot of things that wouldn't fall into place. So I really appreciate this job. So look for things to appreciate in your job. Again, you will either find that your job starts to shift, things start to shift in your job, or you'll find one that is more resonant with what you are appreciating. And you want that to be your most dominant feeling, that appreciation, that gratitude for what you do. And this is why the list of positive aspects does help a lot. And it does help when you do this for people you work with as well. When you make a list of positive aspects and you pull out the positive things in people, it does change things a ton. It really, really does. But you have to come from a place where you are actually thankful for these positive things, not just making a list of things that they're good at because you think it's going to change stuff. Look for things, look for redeeming qualities in people if you are having a difficult time with it, whether it's a client, whether it's a coworker, whether it's your boss. You gotta find these positive things, because when you are in that place of they're angry, they're negative, they're a bully, they're this, they're that, you're continuously pulling that out of them. And you don't want to do that. And there are very good qualities in all people. And I totally understand how it is when someone is just difficult to work with and kind of a jerk. And I've dealt with that. I've shifted that. And in my experience, those people who I've worked with don't come here anymore, don't work here anymore. They've shifted out. But it wasn't until I started to deliberately make the shift in myself that those shifts started happening in the workplace, if that makes sense. Something that I did to shift my workplace that worked super, super well is in the morning. The first thing that I would do when I talked to my coworkers, because I would come in earlier than everybody and then they would come in. There's only like 5 or 6 people that work here. But I would talk about what I was excited about, and I would ask them to do the same thing. I'd say, tell me 3 things that you are super excited about. I want to know. And it would start the day in a super positive way. It would, like, they would come in after like a few weeks of doing it, they would come in and say, I have my things that I'm excited about, and we would talk about things we were looking forward to. Not necessarily in the workplace, but just in general. And guys, it changes so much. Like, that is a really, really good exercise to use. And if you have people who are grumpy and who you don't connect well with, that is an amazing way to just get people feeling good, because you want everybody to feel good, and when they're feeling good, they're going to perform better. Work's going to go easier. You're going to have a better time, and you're going to connect better with people, which is, always a good thing, right? So that one, definitely try it. If you try it, let me know how it works for you, because that exercise right there is what really shifted stuff for me, because I wasn't necessarily looking forward to going to work, and then I would look forward to going to work just so I could talk about what I was excited about with my coworkers, and I think they felt the same way. Another thing to do or remember to do is you got to be flexible in your mindset, because not everything in the workplace always goes according to plan. Sometimes you're thrown a curveball. I'm thrown about 4 a day, and you just have to learn how to go with it. And you have to remember that if stuff doesn't necessarily go according to plan or seems like it's falling apart, it may not be. And if you don't let your head or your mind start moving upstream and start going towards all those negative things, like nothing ever works for me, this job sucks, blah, 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 it's going to be better. So just be flexible, go with the flow, understand that maybe not everything will always work in the way that you've expected it to, but that doesn't mean it's not working out. Another thing that is helpful is to plant things in your workplace that you enjoy. I know people who bring crystals to work, and they love to just have them with them, because who doesn't love the energy of crystals? You can put pictures in your workplace. I know at my desk I have affirmations written everywhere. And something else to do is pack yourself a really nice lunch, or know that you're gonna go and get like something really good for lunch, because then it's like a nice thing to look forward to during that day, like a break in that day that you're like, oh, I have this really awesome like burrito or something that I'm gonna eat later. Or separate yourself from the building. One of my coworkers, she knew that she, like, being in the building when she'd have lunch, she was susceptible to getting interruptions because customers come in all day long. So she physically leaves the building and she goes and looks at the water, because she knows it's going to put her in that really good feeling place. So if you can do that, that's awesome too. Hi, Tony. I don't know if I'm on earlier than normal. I try to come on between 7 and 7:30, but I think I am on a little earlier than I was yesterday. I don't know. So another thing that you guys can do at work, or something to do at work, is to pay attention to your thoughts, because when it comes to working with coworkers, and when it comes to working with clients, and when it comes to working on certain jobs, sometimes we will, on autopilot, go to the negative and say, oh, this person always does this, or this person blah, blah, blah. And it's not necessarily a positive thing. So try and monitor how you're thinking about people and how your automatic mind kind of goes to people. I have to work on this all the time, because even though I do love work, there are things that I have to work on, and there are things that I don't always necessarily enjoy, and I have to make sure that I'm committing to making my workplace as good as I can. And I have to do that in my mind before I can experience it. So if I have somebody who, like a certain client who comes in, and maybe they were difficult to work with one time, if I go back to that and I kind of push that on them and project that onto them, it's probably going to be difficult again. But when you decide that maybe this client's going to be really awesome and have a great day and have something awesome to share, and you kind of put project that onto them, it's probably going to happen. That's happened to me. Like, I'll see people walking in, because I work like in a window, and I'll see people coming in, and there are times where I just like think this person is having an amazing day and they have some really awesome story to share. Like, that happens, and it's really, really, really cool. Morning, Donna. So happy that you are liking these videos, and you're welcome. It's important to remember in general, not just at work, that what you exude, you are going to get. So you want to be that source of joy and light and happiness and fun. I know that at work for me, when I would come in and be angry and difficult and negative, everybody else would be too. And the day sucked and it went by so slow. But when I go in and I'm like happy and excited and ready and talking about what I'm excited about and just ready to tackle a day, everybody else is too, and the customers are, and it feels really, really awesome. So if you want the workplace to be a more positive, happy, uplifting place, let it start with you. Let yourself be that source, and you'll see that that stuff starts to really move in other people. It may take a little bit of time, it may take a few days for your reality to catch up to you, but when you commit to it, stuff will change for you, and it's gonna be epic. This is a big thing to remember that I'm about to say, because a lot of people in the questions that I've been getting about work deal with negative people at work or a negative coworker at work. Don't see another person's negativity or their anger or their frustration as something that you've done, and don't let it affect you in a super negative way. Somebody deciding to be angry or negative or whatever, it's on them. And we all only know how to go through experiences based on what we know and based on our lives and based on what's going on. So if somebody is deciding that they want to freak out over something, let them. But don't, let them be angry on their own. You don't engage with it if you can help it. Don't, vibrationally try not to engage with it. If they need to freak out and they need to vent, just let yourself be almost transparent and let it move through you. Because when you engage with it, and not even verbally, but when you engage with it mentally and you see them in that way, it can be really, really hard to shift out of that. This happened in my workplace, and I had worked with somebody who was very, very negative, very angry, very unappreciative. That's who she was in that moment. And I was the same way. This was a few years ago. And when I started to change, I noticed that all of those things that we both were, and that I still have a tendency to be sometimes. And she didn't shift. What ended up happening is we didn't work well together anymore. We used to be a dynamic duo. We didn't work well anymore, and she found another job and left. But dealing with that negativity, I always took it as a personal thing. And in hindsight, it wasn't personal at all. If someone's going to be angry, frustrated, negative, pissed off, don't put it on yourself, because it really doesn't have anything to do with you. And if you think about other times that you have freaked out at work, because I'm sure everybody has had, a moment of anger or frustration in their job, usually it doesn't even have anything to do with the other person, or there's a buildup, or there's something else going on in your life that maybe you're not happy about, and it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, and that's okay. And just remember that everybody's going through what they're going through, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. So that is a big one, because we do sometimes attract those negative people. Hi, Donna. She says, I work in a call center environment and I do administrative work. I often do a list of positive aspects throughout the day, even on myself. Yes, doing a list of positive aspects on yourself is huge, because when you remind yourself how awesome and great and limitless and fun you are, other people will too. So that is fantastic. Thank you for putting that on there so I could say that. Which actually brings me to my next point, which is weird because I have a list that I'm reading off of, or points that I'm making sure I'm saying, and that's just weird timing. Awesome. Synchronicity. Love it. So make sure you know your worth in your workplace and you assert it. And if you are good at your job, own the fact that you are good at your job. For me, so what I do, my day job, I am an embroiderer. So I embroider clothing, I embroider hats for companies, for people, for like, it's Christmas season, so I'm doing like stockings and blankets and towels, and it's a lot. But I know that I'm good at my job because I've been doing it for 5 years, and I've been in the company since I was a kid, basically, because I grew up here. And it is sometimes, like, I look very, very young. I know that. I have a baby face, and that's fine. I'm going to totally love it when I'm older, and I like it now. But sometimes I will get customers who don't want to work with me because I look young, or I will say like, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't possible, blah, 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 because it's physically impossible to do what they want. And they'll say, why don't you go ask the person who does the embroidery? And I have to, in that situation, make sure I'm asserting my worth and say, oh, I am the person that does the embroidery. I've been doing it for a while. And then I make a joke about how I look young because most people are like, oh, you can't be over 16 years old. And I don't think I look that young, but you just have to have fun with it and make sure that you know you are worthy. Make sure that you know that you are good at your job, because when you step into that, when you own that fact that you're good at your job, you are there for a reason, you have a ton of worth in the company or where you're working, exude that and own that. So then when other people try and try and negate that, you can laugh about it and be like, oh no, I know that I'm worthy. I know that I'm good at my job, or else I wouldn't be here. It also helps to have a list of positive affirmations about yourself to go back to. So then if you do get upset, or if you do have that happen, you can go back to it and allow yourself to maybe do some mirror work or just read those things and remind yourself of how good you are at your job, because I bet you guys are very good at what you do, or else you wouldn't be doing it. So don't let people make you feel inadequate. Don't let people make you feel less than. And when they do, don't engage in it. Some people will, and through no fault of their own, sometimes people will put you down a peg or two, or try to put you down a peg or two, so then they can feel however they want, and that's on them. That doesn't have anything to do with you. If they need to feel high and mighty for whatever reason, just, again, let yourself be transparent to it. Let it move through you. You don't have to engage with it. And a lot of things that I think have helped me is deciding not to engage with certain things at work. That's what really has shifted things for me, when I decided not to, engage in negativity or let someone's terrible attitude ruin my day. Whatever, when I don't interact with that as much, the day goes by better, and I don't attract it as much. And yeah, so the workplace is shiftable. It's not always the easiest thing to shift, and I understand that sometimes there are people who they push all of your buttons, and it's so difficult. But again, try to be transparent, try to engage as not often as you can with that. Know your worth, assert your worth, talk about what you're excited about, talk about what you love, invite your coworkers to do the same, share stories with customers. And a big thing about work is treat everybody like they are a human being. And when you go to places, this is just in general now, this isn't so much in the workplace, treat everybody like they're a human, like they matter, like they're worth something. Because I don't know if this happens to you guys, but every once in a while I get people who think I'm a robot, and they think I'm just there to do one thing all day long, and they get frustrated if there's like a time frame that doesn't work. I don't know. But we are all human beings. We are all worthy of love and appreciation and abundance. So treat other people like that. Whether you're working with them, whether you are meeting them for the first time, whether you're at work, whether you're at school, whether you're wherever, we are all out here looking for, love and confidence and happiness. And when you treat other people like they matter, like they're worth something, and like they, deserve to take up space in this amazing universe, it helps. And it makes all situations go better. So that kind of delved off of the work thing a little bit, but I felt like it was worth saying. So that is what I have about shifting the workplace, using the law of attraction at work. Again, guys, seriously, talk about what you're excited about with your coworkers, because it is a fantastic way to change things for you and to get everybody feeling good. So if you guys have any questions, definitely drop them below. If you have any topics that you want me to cover for future videos, please let me know, because I love to help you guys in any way I can. I'm really happy I finally got to do this workplace one because quite a few people have asked about it. Hopefully it answers the questions that they had, and hopefully this inspires you to uplift your workplace and be a source of fun, light, love, happiness, whatever you're seeking. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. And yeah, that's it. I love you guys. Love and light.